Arnav, when we talk about the origin of the human life or the life itself, by its own definition, that we all emerged from the water, we were aquatic, we were living in the water, and then there are the species like which was equally both living in water as well as on the land, right? And we call it in the science as the amphibians. Right. Physics is having its own, way of that they say that two big, molecule come together, and that's for the beginning. What is your thought on this? How do you see to it? Is it really physics or chemistry or something, which biology really predicts?
So I definitely agree with the Darwin's view of evolution and how we came from water, multicellular organisms began to form. That's fine. From a physics point of view, what I've seen so far and what I've researched, I look at it from the perspective of the Big Bang. So way before, 13 billion years before what we're talking about today. So that was when there's this thing called the Big Bang that happened. It was a good way of thinking about it is it was a melon. It was a melon-shaped and sized ball of energy that eventually blew up, and in milliseconds, hundreds and thousands of particles, which clumped together because of all of these forces. Electrostatic, there's gravitational, there's electromagnetic, and because of these forces, they cling together, and as they cling together, more and more, and they become more and more complex. And eventually, over a period of 13.5 billion years, all of these tiny particles became bigger, became the Earth. And they started interacting in a way which formed chemicals. They started reacting with each other. And as they reacted with each other, they formed life, human life. Not really human life. There was one particular cell that eventually evolved into a human being. So when I think about evolution and the beginning of everything, I definitely think about the Big Bang.
Very good. And this is what, the Big Bang, lot of experiments are going on. We know that lot of laboratories are there where people are trying to do a similar kind of experiment, And how do you think that that's really possible in the artificial way, the way people are seeing it to it?
People have been artificially trying to figure out whether these particles exist or not. That's the biggest thing that's going on right now. A fun way of thinking about it is that it's the world's biggest science experiment. It's called the CERN Particle Collider, or the Large Hadron Collider. It's in Sweden. And what it does is it accelerates really tiny particles to pretty much the speed of light. And it clashes them together. And it checks whether there exist extra dimensions or new particles we've never seen before. So we're artificially recreating things that are happening in the universe and trying to observe what comes out of them. It's like having two cars, and you don't know, you can't open up the cars, you can't check the engines, you can't check the parts. So you crash them together and they break apart. So you can look at all of their parts after they've crashed. That's basically what the particle accelerator does. And I've actually been personally trying to replicate the particle accelerator for the past 4 years. Me and my friends actually made a model of the particle accelerator.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's a 8-kilometer loop. It's all coiled up, and it has 16 kilometers of copper wire. It's controlled by around 9 Arduinos and insane amount of batteries. It has around 20 car batteries. And we power this in such a way that we compress certain particles, usually electrons, because they're easier to... We use this thing called a CRT, a cathode ray gun. Or we try with hydrogen, because we can produce hydrogen ourselves in school.